What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sloppy Saturdays. And today we are continuing into Shedeur Sanders. Huge news broke out. Shedeur Sanders was clocked in, getting pulled over, speeding at 101 miles per hour. You know Shedeur Sanders, everything that comes with him. He definitely had a V8 huge sports car, and he gets pulled over being irresponsible. Now, for a lot of other players, a lot of other athletes, this may have been overlooked, but for Shedeur Sanders, I think this is a huge deal. I think this is absolutely tremendous and should not be overlooked. Let's get into everything with Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur Sanders, as we've been covering him throughout college to the NFL, we have never seen a player drop to the likes of Shedeur Sanders. This was a guy that was rumored to be a first round top 5 pick 2 months out of the draft, and he ends up going in the 5th round. Now, everything that has been going on with Shedeur Sanders left him no room for error. When we talk about Shedeur Sanders, he has been on absolute thin ice. When you look at all the way back to the Nebraska game, him throwing his teammates under the bus on the offensive line. When you look at the showboating, everything that comes with it, people didn't like that. Then he goes into the NFL draft. His interviews were horrible. There was rumors that he got tricked by the Giants. He came in telling teams what he wanted, not caring about what they want. He got tricked by play calling. Then when you look in his draft room, he had a stream, the whole legendary thing. A lot of distractions are coming with not Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, wrong Browns quarterback. And a lot of distractions are coming with him, and that's the last thing you want from a leader, from a QB. When you look at the elite QBs in the NFL, they come with very minimal distractions. When you look at Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, even Lamar Jackson, who has an electric game, you never hear any bad things about him as well. Shedeur Sanders has just a lot of things carrying him, so he becomes a 5th round pick, and he's on absolute thin ice. And everybody's hyping up these Browns practices that he's killing it. The first thing I want to say about that is Shedeur Sanders is playing the least competition, has the worst reps out of anybody in that Browns QB room. He's facing the complete last teamers. Yeah, he's tearing it up, but that's what he should be doing. But when you look at a tight Browns QB race and a guy that nobody wanted to pick, to go back and go over the speeding thing, to have another distraction in a tight race where you're the last leg in that race. Like, you have the least investment out of anybody in that room. When you look at Dylan Gabriel, who's a 3rd round pick, 2 rounds more than him, more invested in him. Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, obviously more money in them as well, and they have a little bit more of a resume, obviously, in the NFL, as Shedeur Sanders is a rookie. So, yes, I think this is a huge deal because in a tight QB race and on thin ice, very similar to if you're in a job setting or whatever, when a job has any reason, once looking for any reason to fire you, and you add on fuel to the fire, it is not a good look for you. Now, when you look at how tight this QB room is, if Shedeur Sanders ends up being the best NFL quarterback, the best NFL talent, he's definitely going to get his shot. But if this thing's tight and all distractions that are coming with Shedeur Sanders, this just is not going to happen for him. You're talking about a guy that has been on thin ice more than anybody in the NFL, and he clocks in for 101 speeding. This is just completely irresponsible. And again, like I said, with everybody having more invested in them in this QB room, Shedeur Sanders is finding a way out of the starting job, it seems like. Like, the first month out of the draft, all we were saying is how hard Shedeur Sanders is working, how good he looks. I thought, again, he was going to do everything he could now that he dropped so much to take advantage of this opportunity. But this was just absolutely irresponsible. And I wanted to go over, obviously, my take on it. Again, Shedeur Sanders ends up being the best talent in that room. He's going to start. But for a Browns QB room that everybody has more invested in, Shedeur Sanders, now he's coming with a ton of distractions, adding on it with the speeding. And for a team that has 2 first-round picks and a loaded QB class next year, Shedeur Sanders is finding a way to not get this opportunity. This is a horrible look. That wraps up this very short episode reaction of Sloppy Saturdays, and we are